Good morning.
Good morning.
This summer, the Appalachia Service Project celebrated 50 years of service. We call ourselves to worship this morning with the theology of Tex Evans, the founder of
Even saying with Polycarp of old, I worship the one true God, and his Son I follow.
Here I am, Lord.
We see all people as our brothers and sisters, made in the image of God, having intelligence, a will, freedom, a sense of beauty, compassion, a sense of values, and creativity.
We hold that every person wants essentially four things: to be loved, to belong, to own something, to create something worthwhile.
We go to our brothers and sisters, and we accept them right where they are, just the way they are. Earnestly, we seek to bear witness to awareness, concern, hope, and helpfulness. Christian love.
Is it I, Lord?
We count ourselves fortunate indeed in our own opportunities and seek to give a good account of our stewardship.
We seek to work in glad cooperation and mutual support with other workers, being prepared to keep sensitive and helpful according to the needs of the hour.
Gladly we serve him who said in the first chapter of Luke, he has sent me to set at liberty those who are oppressed and to open the doors of the captive.
I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart.
Lord be with you. And also with you. Welcome to worship on this Sunday. This Sunday that we celebrate the Appalachian Service Project and the team that went there this summer. They will lead us all through the worship, and we will hear their stories and look at their images and hope that you will celebrate with us. Will you please go ahead and be seated? And we're going to take just a moment to introduce the team. So team, if you will come on down. So you all may know that we go down as this big motley crew. This year we had 31 people. But when we get down there, we actually need to break out into crews and serve at various houses. And so this year we had 5 crews. We had 2 crews that were double crewed. So we worked on one house together. That's a lot of people at one house. But what it means is that they're hoping to accomplish a whole lot before the summer is over. One of our favorite things to do is to go at the end of the summer because we like to be the button-up crew. We like to finish things up, and we work hard. We play hard, but we work hard too. So we want to make sure that everybody gets introduced. We're going to introduce ourselves by crew, and this year the staff decided to just do something fun and be creative and unique, and they named each house after a Mario Kart character. So, no, after what? Okay, see, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't play that game. So a Mario Kart track is what they named it after. I knew it was Mario Kart. All right, so let's get to it. Go ahead.
Hello, we are Peach Gardens 1, and my name is Michael.
I'm Max.
Vicky.
I'm Carly. I'm Hannah. I'm
And we were called to build framing in the hallway for installation on hardwood siding, build wall and door framing for storage space above the kitchen, sanded, trim, and drywalled and painted Damon's room.
Hello, we are Wario's Gold Mine. I'm Amber.
I'm Andy.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Emma. I'm Lucas.
And we were called to hang mud and finish drywalling a bathroom. We painted this bathroom, installed the flooring, we built a wall, we installed the bathroom fixtures, we rewired a bathroom in order to put in a bathroom fan, we completed the trim, we installed a water heater, we replaced gutters, we trenched and added flashings, and we patched, insulated, and filled a hole on the outside of our home.
We're Peach Gardens 2, and I'm Lucas.
I'm Audrey.
Drew.
Ian.
Julie.
And we were called to drywall, paint the hallways, insulate a crawl space, install shower accessories, and floor most of the house.
We're Yoshi Falls. I'm Natalie.
Logan.
Molly.
And we also had Tyler Hampton and Annika and Kristen Korndike.
And we were called to do odd jobs. We did a lot of guttering, and we did some trim, painting, helping out around. We went from house to house as a float crew.
Good morning. This is Maple Treeway. I'm Will.
I'm Robert.
I'm Molly.
I'm Morena.
I'm Laura.
I'm Jay.
And we were called to put new flooring in a bedroom and a bathroom. We trimmed almost the whole house. We did drywall work in the bathroom. We installed a ceiling fan, installed a sink vanity, and painted a whole lot. And we also replaced some gutters.
So this is what it looks like to be called to action. That was our summer theme for our service trip. And we did indeed answer that call. We hope that you will stand up and be called to action and pass the peace that comes with Jesus Christ with your neighbor. Good morning. Peace be with you as well. Peace be with you. Thank you. Peace be with you.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there is doubt, true faith in you.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may ever see so much to be consoled as you console, to be understood as you understand, to be loved as you love with all make me that we are in giving almost we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal
Here I am, Lord. It is I. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. We, these people standing up here in these gray shirts, may have been the ones to go on the trip and do the construction and build the relationships with the people down in Appalachia, but it's all of us as a congregation who have been called to make this trip happen. Because without everybody in this congregation and the contributions and the support and the love you've given to help us and help make this happen, it would not have been possible. Whether it's through buying some pies at Thanksgiving, Christmas time, or eating some chili, or throwing some money in a basket, all of your support, prayer cards if you've signed up to be a prayer partner with somebody. All that helps make this possible. And just as with that thought in mind, we are heading into the new stewardship season. We have a theme, giving is heart work. Heart work being the theme, and you will be hearing a lot more about that through Mike Cooper and the other members of the stewardship team. So please start developing what your thoughts and prayers and minds might be towards what your giving will be, so that this church can continue doing all the wonderful things that we do to serve not just our community, but our world community as well. Thank you. And now we'll have a slideshow to show some of the sights and sounds that we had on our trip.
Thank you. Children, will you come on down? We have a children's time for you, led by some of our ASP team members.
You got a big dog? Come on down. All right, how's everybody doing? Good. All right, so we're going to have some questions for you guys, and you're going to make choices by either standing up or sitting. You have to choose one or the other. So would you rather use a hammer or use a saw? If you want to use the hammer, stand up. If you want to use the saw, stay sitting. Okay. Hammer, stand up. You guys stand up. Okay, one more hammer. All right, next question. You guys can sit back down. Okay, would you rather eat candy and get a bunch of cavities and have to go see the dentist, or eat green beans, grow up strong and healthy? You got to stay sitting for the green beans. Stand up if you want the candy. Yeah. Yep, you guys want to be strong. Eat those green beans. Okay, one more. Would you rather sleep in a gym or in a cabin? Stand up if you want to sleep in a gym. Stay sitting if you want to sleep in the cabin. Cabin? You want to sleep in the gym?
Cabin?
Gym or cabin?
Gym.
Okay, all right.
We have to make a lot of choices in our life. Some of them are hard, and some of them are easy, as with the candy and green beans. We went on a service project this summer to Trade, Tennessee. We met several families who needed help fixing their houses. They had a lot of hard choices to make in their life, and sometimes it meant they couldn't fix their homes. That's where we came in. We went to go help them with on the ASP, the Appalachia Service Project. When you guys turn 14, hopefully you can join us.
Yup. Okay. You guys planning on coming on ASP when you turn 14? Why not?
Why not?
I think you'll change your mind.
Bro, you'll hang out with us. Aren't we fun?
All right. Now we're going to bow our heads and pray. This is a repeat after me prayer, all right? Dear God, thank you for choices.
Thank you for choices.
Help us make good choices. And choices that help others. Amen.
Amen.
Good job, everybody.
Guys.
Oh, shit.
Today's scripture, Isaiah 6, 1-8. In the midst of great national turmoil, God gives the prophet a vision that even now has the power to buckle our knees and blow our minds. After all, it's almost as if God tugs the curtain between heaven and earth open just enough so that the prophet can peek into the heavenly realm. So how does Isaiah respond when the prophet catches a glimpse of God? He sees himself as well as all people for what we really are, sinners. That is the bad news. But the good news is that God is full of grace, and we are still able to be servants of God through the gifts of grace. Here are the words from the book Isaiah. It was the year King Uzziah died that I saw the Lord. He was sitting on a lofty throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Attending him were mighty seraphim, each having 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their face, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. They called out to each other, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of heaven's army. The whole earth is filled with his glory." Their voices shook the temple to its foundation, and the entire building was filled with smoke. Then I said, "It's all over. I am doomed, for I am a sinful man. I have sinful lips, and I am among a people with filthy lips. Yet I have seen the King, the Lord of heaven's army." Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a burning coal he had taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. He touched my lips with it and said, "See, this coal has touched your lips. Now your guilt is removed, and your sins are forgiven." Then I heard the Lord asking, "Whom shall I send as a messenger to this people? Who will go for us?" I said, "Here I am. Send me."
This is what the Spirit is saying to the church today. Thanks be to God. Thank you, Natalie. So, in the year that King Uzziah died, it is in the midst of great national turmoil, and Isaiah has a powerful vision. And as Natalie said, it's almost as if God tugs the curtain between heaven and earth open just long enough so that the prophet can peek into the heavenly realm. And in it, he sees the Lord seated on a throne, high and exalted, whom calls the King, the Lord Almighty. And Isaiah also hears the angels crying out to each other, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." The prophet reports that it's all enough to shake the temple almost to its foundations. So the Judeans are facing multiple spiritual problems. They have forgotten and forsaken the Lord. Their worship is futile. Corruption marks their leadership, and greed has led to injustice. Not only are they in the depths of spiritual crisis, but they're also living within a time of political crisis and chaos. This long-serving king who brought great stability has died. Now, the death of any king in this particular time could bring a great deal of chaos to the ancient world. But his death, because he was a long-serving king, brought about a large sense of dislocation and instability. Now, if we want to sort of compare that to our day, to our times, to our era, we might consider some of the global issues which confront us. Terrorism, abject poverty, global warming and climate change, and political polarization, to name just a few. So it is in the midst of this human loss and suffering, in the midst of separation and disconnection, that Isaiah sees this powerful vision that praises God. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The earth is full of your glory. It was in the year 1969 that Tex Evans, a United Methodist minister, had a powerful vision of connecting the energy of youth to the deep needs that are within Central Appalachia. During his years as the director of Henderson Settlement in Frakes, Kentucky, he witnessed the great need for home repair. In the summer of 1969, he recruited 50 teens and adult volunteers to repair homes in Barberville, Kentucky. They worked on site during the day, and they worshiped in the evenings. By that summer's end, 4 families had safe, warm homes for the winter, and 50 young lives had been changed forever. And a long-standing legacy had been born. Tex Evans' vision was to appeal to the best that is within our youth, that are active within our churches. He said, we appeal to the noblest, the bravest, the most caring, the most loving people who are out there. And we say to them, we need your help. We need your caring. We need your mind. We need your hands. We need your love. We need your sweat. And we get it. He believed that this is not the worst generation, but this is the best generation that the world has ever had. Because young people know more about people. And they will cut right through every economic barrier, racial barrier, language barrier, national barriers to bear witness to the gospel. Since 1969, 393,643 volunteers from across the nation have repaired 17,866 homes. And in the process, Appalachian families, volunteers, and staff have been immeasurably blessed. Today, with the help of more than 16,000 volunteers each year, the goal of ASP remains to make homes warmer, safer, and drier for families in need. The youth of our church will bear witness that ASP is not merely a home repair program. It also provides this unique framework that fosters transformational experiences for volunteers, for the families served, for staff, by building relationships with each other that break down those cultural, social, and economic barriers that Tex identified. So we're going to hear today from a few of our young people. So if you guys will go ahead and get yourself into place. These brave people have agreed to a question and answer session. Now, many of you know that before we make this trip, we ask that you all will become prayer partners with us. And we actually hope that all of you, no matter what, will pray for us as we go out to serve the world. But we also ask specifically that you might stop by the table and get a picture of just one particular person. Stick that person up on, the picture of that person up on your refrigerator or in your Bible, somewhere where you will remember to send them love and strength throughout the week. So I asked a couple people who had represented as prayer partners to come up with a few questions. If you had the opportunity and you wanted to hear from these young folks, what is it that you would want to hear? And so these are the questions that they came up with. We have in our first group, we have Hannah Koshar, Logan Neely, and Molly Gross. And so for your first question, we want to know, what did you experience that was unexpected?
Well, Julie, on my first day, I was sanding a ceiling, and I have contacts, so it was getting in my eyes, and it was really painful. And in the car ride home, I had said, hey guys, we should buy some swim goggles. That will protect my eyes. And later that night, I found some swim goggles by a river, and it was really interesting that I found them, and I'm sure you guys saw it in the slideshow. They were really small. It was just really fun and exciting to experience something like that.
One thing that I expected was that, or I expected but I didn't expect, was one of the kids was there at the first home I went to, and he was in the slideshow, and as angry as he looked, he was very happy. He enjoyed seeing me because he doesn't see very many people, especially of my own age, closer to him. He hangs out with his grandmother and his parents. So we met at the picnic that we have on Thursdays, and it was very devastating saying goodbyes Friday because he was there at the house.
I didn't expect anything on the trip. My parents or anyone in my family who had been on the trip didn't say anything to me about it. They kind of kept it a surprise. So when I got there, I just had no idea what was like coming or happening. Just kind of went with it for most of the time. And what I really wasn't expecting was the amount of community in the center, how there was always someone to like play cards with or to talk to if you were like kind of feeling low. So that was nice.
And in our second group, we have Carly, Milena, and Lucas. Your question is, what about your thinking has changed because of ASP?
Well, I am normally a very pessimistic person. And since going on ASP, I have seen optimism at its primest. And I have learned that change is possible. You just have to go out and do it.
I have found that I've been a lot more empathetic to my fellow peers at school, listening to their problems and helping them find a way to solve it when I hadn't really been as much empathetic before going on ASP.
Before going on ASP, I thought that you needed things to be happy, but as I got there, I realized you didn't.
All right, thank you all. Okay, so first group, next question. What discomfort or fear did you have to overcome? Or how did you get out of your comfort zone?
So our last day at our house was extremely stressful because we, of course, did not finish. And ASP staff showed up with some floor tiling. And they said, hey, you're going to tile a shower with these. That was great. I ended up crying in the bathtub, and Andy over here was holding me while I was crying, and it was just very emotional to be able to put up floor tiles in a shower.
This year was the most discomfort I had in a while because the other 2 years that I've gone, I had this specific family. I was part of I went to this one house, one site. But this year, I was part of the float cruise, so we bounced around, went to different houses, so I didn't build that connection that I wanted to. And some, I got a great connection, others, not so much.
So, on our last day, we went to a different house that needed help with gutters. And so people had to be on the roof. And for most of the day, I was safe on the ground because they didn't need me at first because everyone was just having fun on the roof. And then toward the end of the day, Molly walked up to me and was like, okay, go. Let's go. Your turn. And I was like, great. So I had to be comfortable. I had to get up there, and it was fine. Just took some time to get used to it.
All right. Thank you all. So second group, what was your aha moment? If you had one, how would you name that?
Our homeowner's son named Damon, we worked on his bedroom for just about the entire week. And when we finally finished it, we decided to clean up his room and make it clean and dust everything off because all the other groups had made it just trashed. And so when he walked in, his face just lit up, and he would not come out of his room for the rest of the day. He sat in there and just sat in there in awe, and it was so rewarding.
My aha moment would have to be that, there was this young boy's room, and we had already put the trim up once, and we were on our second time because the first time was a little sloppy, and we get it up, and it looks great, and all the people who worked on it just looked so great and happy, and it was just a whole load of stress that got taken off of our whole group, and it was great.
My aha moment was, like Hannah said, on the last day, we didn't finish, so it was kind of stressful, but our homeowner, Miss Kathy, she was so grateful for what we've done, and she gave us these letters, and it made me feel really good.
All right, thanks, y'all. So back to our first group, and I thought this was a really interesting and challenging question. One of your prayer partners wanted to know if there was any resistance that you met from the families that you were trying to serve.
Absolutely not. Miss Kathy, my homeowner, was absolutely the sweetest lady. She gave us cards, as Lucas said, on our last day. Every day she would come in, ask if we needed anything. When she came to the family picnic, we sat down. We learned she had a PhD in microbiology. Like, crazy. She was so sweet. She let us play with her dogs and her cats and her bunnies, and I could not have asked for a better homeowner.
When I got there, there was little resistance. The homeowner was very welcoming. She understood what was going on. She's had people there weeks before us since we were the last one. But she didn't want us to go. She kept trying to find all these little projects for us to do, so we would stay there. Kept trying to say, we got to go to the house, got to finish other stuff. And she's, but I have a bookshelf to make. So.
My homeowner was very cautious about having us in there and having us work. She was always like looking just to make sure we weren't ruining anything, because other groups before us hadn't left the house in the best condition it could have been left in. So we had to be very careful and empathetic and talk to her and make sure she was comfortable with us being there and fixing little things.
All right, thank you. So then on the flip side of that, did you all experience or were you able to create a comfortable working relationship with your families?
Of course. Our homeowner was always there trying to help out. He had a background in construction, and so he knew what he was doing. And he was always wanting to hold something or oh, you should do this instead of this. Oh, yeah, good idea. Because we didn't necessarily know what we were doing sometimes. So he would help out with that. And he was a goofball and such a fun person to work with.
I wouldn't say that I had a working relationship with our homeowner, but I definitely did have a relationship with her because, for those of you who know me, I live with my grandparents with my brother, and our homeowner was a grandmother who was taking care of two of her grandsons. And I really connected to her through the week because I got to talk to her and she opened up to me about some of the struggles that she has taking care of her two grandsons. And I kept thinking, well, maybe my grandparents have these same struggles. And I just really connected to her on an emotional level through that relationship.
My working relationship with our homeowner was kind of complicated, but she was really nice. Every day she would come in and ask for if we needed anything multiple times on different occasions, and I can't get over those letters. They were, yeah, she was just a really nice person. She felt like a grandma. I don't know if she had kids, but she was definitely a grandma. Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for sharing. Would you give them just a little love? So please don't let this conversation end here. I encourage you to ask more questions of these that are here before us and then those that are before and behind them as well. This has been a transformational experience. And to talk about it then solidifies it that much more and can give us visions for the future as well. So one of the guiding principles that you heard in our call to worship is that all people should be able to live in affordable, safe, and sanitary housing. Unfortunately, substandard housing can occur simply because homeowners cannot afford to make repairs on their homes. They may have to make some really hard choices in living. They might have to live with a leaky roof because they need to buy groceries. The heating bill may be really high, but the cost of adding insulation and repairing the broken windows is not even a consideration within the budget. My son Jonah was an ASP staffer this summer, and he helped to lead an evening gathering activity that we also did as well, that dealt with making these really difficult choices when you are living on a severely limited income. So we have these evening gatherings every single night, and they are meant to educate us and to inspire us and allow us to further hear God's vision of shalom. So Jonah's going to lead us in this choice activity, and we're hoping that you too will play along.
I spent the summer working for ASP in Guyan Valley, which is why I got this cool exclusive staff shirt and got to stand out a little bit this morning against all the regular gray shirts. It was an incredible experience that I believe I won't even be able to know that full effect until a lot longer down the road. But as far as hard decisions go, throughout my summer of service, I had to take on the role of someone who makes a lot of hard decisions for the families we served, volunteers like these guys, and my fellow staff that I worked with. I think it was through this position of leadership that I felt that I was able to best understand some of the daily decisions that our homeowners face on a regular basis. We had families that dealt with many things along with those circumstances that came along with their homes, including health issues, deaths in the family, divorce, food deserts, and crippling poverty. So I want you guys to take a moment and put yourself into the shoes of a person living in rural Appalachia with significant financial difficulties. The lack of any real economic center makes both finding a job and quality food very difficult. The lack of any real economic center also can create misfortune and systematic barriers that brought you to this point, but you must also face these daily issues that you've never faced before, such as struggling to pay for food, geographic isolation, and a lack of opportunity for any kind of upward mobility. For this next activity, I'm going to present you with 3 different scenarios in which you will have to make a decision. Use this perspective that you've been thinking about for the last few moments, and think about how you would address these situations as an Appalachian homeowner that ASP may serve. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to read these scenarios, and there's going to be 2 choices, and I'll ask you guys to either stand or to remain seated, depending on which you may agree with as a person in that financial situation, a lot like our kids did. So the first one, Andy and Katie have been married for 6 years. He works in a coal mine. She is an elementary school teacher. They live comfortably in a 2-story home. Katie has been recently told that her thyroid cancer has returned. A law firm in the county is attempting to link water quality issues with her cancer, as well as the recent diagnosis of several others in the town. The lawsuit claims that the company that employs Andy has been polluting the water with coal slurry, and the slurry is causing numerous illnesses, including cancer like Katie's. Should Andy and Katie join the lawsuit and sue the company, or keep quiet and not join the suit? Keep in mind that coal mining families are at a particular risk for standing up against the company and have lost jobs as a result. So, stand up if you think they should join the lawsuit, and remain sitting if you think they should not join the suit. Okay, thank you guys. Situation number 2. Dave and Suzanne have been married for 14 years. He works in a local factory. She is a teacher. They have health insurance that pays for the cost of Dave's blood pressure medication and Suzanne's migraine medication. They want to make healthy food choices for their family, as their children are 5 and 9 years old. The closest grocery store with fresh fruits and vegetables is 60 miles away. In the winter, it could take as long as 2 hours in each direction. Should they use their fuel budget to drive the distance for healthy foods, which will last them about a week, or drive to the convenience store or gas station 10 minutes down the road to buy canned goods and cheaper, less healthy food and beverages that could last them for a month? Stand up and raise your hand if you think that they should make the drive to the grocery store and get healthier food, or sit down or remain sitting if you think they should buy less healthy food or beverages from the gas station. Thank you, guys. And our last decision. Jess is a gifted artist that has received a scholarship to study art at the community college in the next county. She is the first member of her family to be accepted to college. Jess doesn't have a car to drive to school to attend class. She has a minimum wage job as a cashier at a gas station in town. To pursue her dream of becoming a commercial artist, she has a vehicle, supplies, and can afford to pay for her expenses or go into extreme debt for the sake of pursuing her education. Stand up if you think she should continue to work and save, and remain sitting if you think that she should take out the loans and go into debt for her education. All right, thank you, guys. Making decisions of this caliber are never easy, and there's never a clear choice or a right or wrong answer. Some people, when they first experience a service trip, see these broken families that we work with and how they've made these certain decisions, and they develop an idea that they might have been better at being poor than the family they're serving. This is a dangerous mindset to have and can result in actions of entitlement or superiority, where I love doing this activity on Monday as an opportunity for my volunteers to develop a servant's heart early in the week so that they can work for their homeowners in kindness and love. It also serves as a reminder that this is a service trip, with the key word being service. I think the words help and mission and fix all come from a place of privilege, whereas the word service has a much more personal touch that comes with that servant's heart. I know that as the summer went on for me, I definitely began to look at my homeowners that I worked with more as friends, and I would forget entirely the reason that we were working for them, being that they struggled with poverty. As we go out into the community after church this morning, let's remember this perspective we've taken today and continue to serve our neighbors as best that we can. Thank you.
So this morning, you've heard a little of our experience, you've seen a little of our experience, our unexpected, our uncomfortable revelations, brave steps up a ladder on a rainy day, and those steps that take you away from those things that are very comfortable. And you've got to experience a little bit of ASP right here at home. Hopefully, you may also have heard pieces of two more Tex Evans isms. First, the ASP is fundamentally a relational ministry with a little construction on the side, and that for an ASP experience to be truly meaningful, everyone involved must be ready to begin relationships by accepting people right where they are, just the way they are. I have the honor to invite you all to our special offering this morning. We're going to be taking up this offering as the start of our push for our 2019 trip. And it's truly an honor for me to be up here doing this, because since I began coming on ASP as a 15-year-old 11 years ago, there was not a year that I was not grateful for and moved by the generosity of this congregation. ASP remains one of the most joyful, challenging, and formative experiences in my life, and I will always believe that I owe it in part to all of you. This year, as we take up this offering, I want to remind you that it's, as Jay said, not the only way, time, or place to get involved. If you find that ASP is on your heart, there will be apple pies, there will be chili. You could perhaps consider loaning us a child or a grandchild to take with us next year if they are willing and able. Plenty of opportunities are involved for you to show your gifts and graces. And I'd like to say thank you in advance for your heart, your gifts, your spirit,
your prayers, all from right where you are, just the way you are.
Please stand and join me in the prayer of dedication. God of all, giver of every good and perfect gift, teach us to give to you all that we have and all that we are, that we may praise you not with our words only, but with our whole lives. Amen.
Thank you all for being here and helping us to celebrate this service project. So as we've talked about, we had these evening gatherings that were meant to inspire us. On the last evening, and this was also the last evening for our staff, they'd worked hard all summer long, sweated together, cried together, lived together. And so it was a very emotional evening for them too. So after they sort of bore their hearts to us, then they invited us to come forward, to wash our hands, to help us to understand that it's not just about a week of service. It is about a life of service. This didn't start and end for us in 1 week of Tennessee, as it shouldn't just start and end for us in 1 hour of worship. It is our worship. It is our life. And so we will sing together. We are called to act with justice, to love tenderly, to serve one another, and to walk humbly with God. Let us raise our voices and raise our lives as we give them to God. And so we invite you to prepare your hearts, your mind, your lives for this servant ministry. The team has gone outside to basins of water, and that you are invited to have your hands washed. Please join us.